Okay, Tarah, you have 1 minute to respond.
We need term limits. We need to have it so that you don't become a career politician, that you're only in there for 4 terms, maybe at the maximum 8 years, 10 years. There needs to be a limit so that we're not building these career politicians. And the career politicians, they're in there and they hang on to these jobs and they change. They become disconnected from the people that they are supposed to represent. They begin living these lives that are lavish, filled with lobbyists, as he had mentioned. And that needs to change. So what we need to do is have people that are in there, they have real jobs, they're part of the community, they can go back after they're done serving and they can go back into the general population like everyone else and be subjected to the laws that they were making. And so what we need, term limits. I'm a proponent of term limits. We need legislators that serve us, stop giving themselves pay raises, and stop taking per diems. And that's part of government reform, and I'm going to fight for that.
15 seconds, Todd.
Well, people told me at the beginning of my term in service that Lower Luzerne County always got the shaft. As it relates to being at the table for the people of this community, I've always put my obligation to the people here first, making sure that I change the law where I can to make sure that we're at the table, to make sure that the things that we need down in our region come home.
Okay, before we go to our closing comments, the moderator is going to take a question here, and I'm going to ask the timer to give 2 minutes for each person to respond to this. And I'll start with Tarah first. And the question I'd like to ask you, what do you see is the most important issue facing the 116th legislative district in the state of Pennsylvania?
The most important issue that is facing us is jobs. We have to go back to jobs because without jobs here, people are not going to be able to go out and make purchases. They cannot send their kids to college. They cannot buy homes. We have a foreclosure rate here that is skyrocketing. We have people that are losing their jobs daily. And we need to fix that problem. We need to bring in corporations that are going to come here, and we need to, like with the Marcellus Shale, that is a way that we can stimulate the economy, but it has to be done right. Those are good jobs that we can have here, and it would be an economic boon to this area. And jobs is really the biggest issue, Sam, facing the people here, because right now people are at a standstill and they can't send their kids to college, and we're not progressing. I'm going to fight to bring jobs to our area. I'm going to fight to help the mom and pops and help the small business owners with providing them with incentives, because those small businesses, if they're provided with tax incentives, they will be able to employ more people and businesses will grow, the jobs people will be employed. And this area has been kept in the dark for so long. When you look around the Hazleton area, you can tell that there's something wrong, that we don't have the jobs here. We can't keep our youth like we should be able to. And they're our future, and jobs are our future, and we need to stimulate the economy, bring those good jobs in, and make sure that we are propelling ourselves into the future with those jobs. So jobs really is the biggest issue because it really does affect everything else.
Thank you. Todd, what do you think is the most important issue facing 116 legislative district?
It is jobs, and it's really what your approach to the job approach is. Look, I've had experience in making sure that the environmental money from Growing Greener 1 and 2 came in and did the mine reclamation on sites that created thousands of jobs here in this community. There are people still working at jobs that didn't exist when I started in 1996. There's a great success story in what we've achieved, but the national economy has hit us, and it's hit us hard. The real issue about jobs is to make sure that we save the jobs we've got. The people who are out there working right now need to hold on to the manufacturing base, the food services jobs, the available jobs that we've got in warehousing. We have to hold those, and we have to get ready to grow the next set. How do we do that? We need to make sure that the proper financial incentives are there that allow for infrastructure spending, to allow for sewer and water to get to those sites. We need to make sure that the proper business environment gets created here and the proper tax climate gets created here. But you need entrepreneurial investment to grow jobs. Government doesn't grow jobs. As a matter of fact, we've cut 2,000 state jobs out of the state coffers this last year, and we furloughed another, I don't know, 700 people. So you've got this retraction in state government. You're not going to grow government in jobs. What you got to do is to find ways, like I mentioned earlier, to advance our healthcare sector at our community hospital, to allow it to be a trauma center that can grow jobs and sustain quality, to make sure we save manufacturing jobs and keep the wages high, to do projects like the Broad Street project that create road construction and maintenance. As I was coming in, Sam, I met with a gentleman on the back of a backhoe. He came over to me, he said, "You're Todd Eachus, aren't you? Thanks for doing the Broad Street project because I have a job." These are the kind of things that you've got to do to maintain the integrity of job growth. It's not monolithic, it takes hard work, and I have that experience.